Looking back at my experiences at the deaf school, I remember all of the different competitions, signing competitions I was involved in, like the ASL Children's Festival and ASL Week. I remember how excited I used to get standing in front of the camera filming myself signing. Used to get all sorts of prizes. One of my videos even came in first place. I remember getting all these ribbons and prizes and stuff gave me the confidence in the signing that I have today and that I really enjoy. Thanks to my deaf school. My family's hearing, and they all know how to sign, but it's at my deaf school that I really felt like I was at home. Looking back, when I was in middle school or so, I was really young, I always wanted to make movies. A friend of mine had a little video camera that he let me borrow, and the two of us asked RRA if he would let us make a movie. And he said, yeah, go ahead, take a few days, 2 or 3, and figure it out. Well, I got a whole bunch of friends together and we started making this movie. We were, filming and editing all the stuff. And when it was over, we got our whole school together to watch the movie. And it was just so inspiring. And none of this would have been possible if I wasn't able to sign. If I couldn't, without signing, I wouldn't have been able to communicate my vision of this movie. And that's what is so awesome about being at the deaf school. I was fine going to the mainstream school until I transferred to the deaf school. My confidence, my creativity, my social skills, everything just skyrocketed. I used to be really timid and shy when I was signing, but now I'd become so much more expressive using ABC stories and ASL poetry. It was just so cool. I grew up going to the deaf school, and in one of my English classes, I was assigned to read Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven, and it was just going way over my head. I was not understanding it until one of my teachers signed it to us, and then it clicked. I finally understood it, and that's how reading has gone for me ever since. I grew up playing on team sports, but they were always hearing teams, and these other players always made me feel like I was less than them, that I couldn't play as well. Until I transferred to the deaf school and I got to play on the deaf team, and I got to see things in a different light. The players and the coaches would sign with me and we could, figure out plays and stuff like that. On my hearing team, there was no communication, so there was no clear system to do things. On my deaf team, we could communicate, so there was a very clear system, thanks to my deaf school. I grew up always being shy, but the drama department at my deaf school helped me build my confidence, and I watched my stage fright and my shyness just disappear. When I went to the mainstream school, I worked with lots and lots of interpreters. And once in a while, the interpreters wouldn't be there, so there'd be no one to interpret. So my classmates would ask me to step in and interpret for them until I transferred to the deaf school, and my experience was so different. I didn't need any interpreters. I finally felt like I could be a student without anyone else depending on me. I finally felt free. Looking back at my time at the deaf school, I remember a teacher named Kim Arrigo. She was a deaf teacher who introduced me to deaf culture and ASL. It just knocked my socks off. It blew my mind. Her facial expression and her emotion that was in her signing. It was so powerful. And it inspired me and influenced my sign language and the facial expressions and the emotion that I show when I sign. ASL is a beautiful language and it's something that should be cherished and considered so precious. You've now heard all these people's experiences at the deaf school. I went to the deaf school too, but am I going to be the last one?